But on another note, y'all, we definitely started. Y'all already know how the Sunday Supper Club goes. It's very organic conversation. And this is a bit of a reunion, so we definitely been getting into some teas. But we're going to jump into some icebreakers. Yeah. So y'all can familiarize yourselves with our guests today. We know who they are, but y'all may not. And for those of y'all who don't, we're going to get into it. Alright, so the icebreakers. I sent them to everybody. You don't need to pull them up. I will. Okay. Alright, so the first one is, well, we started this already, but I like to, something we've been doing regularly is just starting with like mental check-in on a more serious note. We know it's a lot of fun and games, y'all, but mental health awareness is very important. People's going through it, so mental check-in. How's everybody's mental? How everybody doing? I'm amazing. How's everybody else? No, not. I'm real playful, and I'm gonna be. But mentally, I feel good. I feel like I've been doing consistent work. I can track my work from 2020 to now, and I can put on paper the growth personally to track where I am mentally. And I'm enjoying it. I know where I want to go, and I know exactly what the plan is to continue going there. And certain things that are happening, it's not that I'm going through these crazy different challenges in my life. Some of them are some of the same challenges because you go through some of the same things. I operate differently because I understand my triggers, I understand my mindset, I understand how to communicate, and I understand how to communicate my emotions to myself. So that way I'm on top of them. So when I'm going through some of the same situations that I may have gone through 6 months ago or a year ago, I operate and respond completely differently. So that's why I'm going to always say, oh, I'm doing really good. Because in reality, the work that I can track from the last 3 years shows that I'm doing good. But how y'all doing?
Feeling good this week.
Okay.
I'm always up and down. This week I'm up.
Good.
I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good space, mainly because I'm like in alignment. So
I love that.
And I'm like creating right now. So it's like when I'm creating, I feel the best. So yeah, I'm feeling great. Can't complain.
I feel like the quicksand that was under my feet is starting to firm.
I like that.
So I feel like now I have an idea like what I'm supposed to do every day. Because at first I was like, so what do I do every day? And now I'm like, oh, okay, like talk to my clients on the phone.
Because if y'all not aware, she's in a new journey right now.
Oh yeah, I'm in a new journey. So 2-3 episodes ago, I got laid off from my job. 40 other people also got laid off. It's trifling. They did it in a webinar. That was so tacky. It was so tacky, but they did it in a webinar. And then I was just trying to figure out what to do because I had like just started like doing stuff on my own on my side business, and then I was like, oh, so now I feel like really give it time. I'm really garner me some more money.
The was very corporate world from the outside looking in as a friend. Demia was very corporate world. She's very corporate world structured, which is opposite of me. Those are qualities that I would want to have that I don't have. But the thing was, she was in a very dislike of what she was doing.
I see.
She was amazing at what she does, but she hated it, so to say.
Okay.
So it was no longer fulfilling her. So I feel like the powers that be, God, put her in this position
like
because
redirection.
yes, you were never gonna quit. You was never gonna quit your job.
Never gonna quit.
Especially like financially, where you have grown to be because you elevated it so much so far. You start getting so much money. It's like you never gonna leave this job, but you go home complaining about it every day.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is a perfect space for her. The universe pushed her into this uncomfortable space so she can prove to herself how comfortable she can make it for herself. So this is on the outside watching, this is a good thing for her to see her go through because it's just a good thing to go through. Yeah. As a creative, we're all creative, so you gotta go through that like bumpy road a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, sure.
Congrats.
Yeah. Round of applause. Period. Okay.
Still the same.
I be trying to be like,
You like you gotta let it out.
Okay. I be at work and they be like, and it almost made me get louder because what are you looking at? I'm laughing. What's up? Okay. What's something you've always? This is for everybody, all of us included. What's something you've always wanted to do now that it would be a great time to pursue? Something that you've not done, but at this point in your life, where you are mentally, spiritually, creatively, it would be the perfect time to pursue something that you've always maybe wanted to. That's an interesting one.
Speak to something that I just started doing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just started creating stationery and like greeting cards and stuff.
Oh, that's
your
lit.
Card, it was so good.
That's
So
lit.
I've always talked about like creating stationery, planners, cards and stuff. I'm just in love with stationery.
That's a great market too.
Yeah.
Like you could tap in for real. Like I like that.
Yeah, so I started. I love it. I enjoy it. It's like it's soothing to me. It's like so it's something I enjoy doing.
I love that. Okay.
Okay, homework.
Yeah.
I saw that. She just winked. Did she wink?
Zoom in on that point. Zoom in.
It was so subtle.
Little wink, okay?
Wait. Okay, so for me, mine is more so just like hobbies, like nothing like monetary or anything like that, but like I've been really diving into like if I want to say like I've always wanted to do horseback riding. I want to get into that.
I love it.
But recently, I've been flying planes.
What?
You know, like the pilot?
That's amazing.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. So I've been doing that. I recently did it like earlier this month. Yeah, my brother and I went.
Come on, because I don't know much about that field, but I could just anticipate, or I could just assume that there's not a lot of black people, let alone black women, who are in that field. So that's.
I just want to do it as a hobby, and I don't want to like pursue it as a career, but it's just a hobby.
How far did you go?
So we flew like Gaithersburg area, so we just flew around.
It's lit. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's
really cool.
That's lit. Yeah.
That is.
Now I'm like,
great, girl.
that's amazing. Yeah, I feel like you're like, oh yeah, this was fun, and we all like, oh my god. Yes. Okay.
It's one of my little daredevil hobbies that I've been
That is a little daredevil like.
Okay.
Do you want to propeller planes?
Yep.
Ooh, I'll be flying those on birthday parties.
I'm crying. Okay.
I've been baking a lot lately, like baking cookies from scratch. And I was like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun, but honestly, it takes all day. But it's like annoying. It's like not all day, but like anything that takes more than 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, that's.
I say the same thing. It's
Is it hard though?
30-minute meals, Rachel Ray is perfect for me.
Cookies are real simple. It's like butter and sugar, and you mix all of that together, and then you add in your flour, and it's like slowly, and then you add in all your other toppings, and then you just drop your cookies on the thing. The thing is like the butter ratio, so I made these real soft cookies a few weeks ago. They were so good. It was like chocolate chip walnut. So that's my new favorite cookie.
That sounds good. There's been like TikToks of people making dupe crumble cookies.
I have seen that. I've never had crumble.
Oh,
I've
those
seen reviews.
I think those are cookie like that's like that cookie we had in Atlanta.
Essentially.
Yeah, we had that. We had cookies like that in Atlanta. It was because it's like not cooked in the middle.
Yeah.
That's what,
So I like cookies that aren't cooked in the middle.
See, and
It
then
was
I talked to
too
someone
much,
earlier
like-
who said that. A guy at work, he's like, I like a cookie dough, like soft in the middle, like texture. And I was like, I don't
need stuff
But
bursting in my mouth.
some people like that a lot.
I love that.
You love
So that's why it's like a mixed review. Like I see a lot of, I haven't tried it yet.
And then the flavors change so much too,
They're
or
so
something like
big.
that. It's a lot of cookies.
Yeah, and it's like a subscription, so you subscribe to the
Is
subscription.
that what it is?
Yeah, and they
Oh,
like,
didn't know
because
that.
they be like,
I didn't
oh,
know
just
that.
gotta make combo box. I'm like, what? This is a big
I'm not subscribing for cookies. I'm trying to unbig my bag. Like,
Oh, big my
Oh, some is here though.
With a salad box.
I mean, unbig it for next year.
Right.
Yeah.
You catch me this summer, this is what you're gonna get, baby.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it.
Okay? Handles and all. Grab it like a joystick, okay, baby? Grab it like a joystick, yeah?
Joystick.
Okay?
Like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, like the one in the submarine.
Two fives.
take it out in post. We gonna take it out.
No.
We gonna keep it in.
Keep it in. We black.
We gonna keep it in. The internet been making jokes.
Right.
Like, why can't we?
It's a shame down for me.
No, but in all honesty, so sorry to those people.
Yeah.
Condolences to that family.
Condolences to that
Yes,
family.
condolences.
Prayers.
Some people say laugh to keep from crying. Moving on. Okay. That's some people do say laugh.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, no, you can't let people.
Because some people operate like, I know people who operate like, I'm just glad to keep from crying. And I feel like it's sometimes toxic, but it works for some people.
Yeah.
You was never gonna cry.
We wasn't gonna cry. But I said we were crying.
Never gonna cry.
I'm not gonna lie, I just found out last night.
They said,
In my own bubble, I really
they
did.
said if the stepson not crying, right?
No, the stepson had took me out, okay?
What?
The stepson, the internet had him in a chokehold because he went to a Blink 182 concert. And it was like, you should be home grieving. And then he got on camera and he was like, it's not like I was there like this bumping to it, but what can I do
He said
besides
sorry for y'all loss. He told us sorry for
Yeah.
for our loss.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he this song.
Yes.
Sorry for y'all though.
Yes. But also he's like, what can I do? I can't do nothing.
It's
That
true
man
though.
it's two things to be true at the same time. The people want you to grieve in a different way, and that's not their business. But also, what can he do? Especially in that moment, yesterday or the day before, when he was waiting for word, nothing was confirmed or not confirmed. He's like, what am I gonna sit in my living room?
I got these tickets in advance.
Hello?
Exactly.
I'm gonna sit in my living room and just
Dang.
let my mind go.
He said this is Renaissance for me.
Oh,
He was not gonna miss it.
I haven't heard Blink 182.
I know.
in years.
Travis got this.
Are y'all got anybody going to the Renaissance tour? Plans
I don't
for it?
really
Not
care
even a
for
little
Beyonce.
bit.
Yeah,
I love Beyonce,
Love
but
Beyonce.
she's
She did somebody gender reveal at the concert.
I
too,
saw
right?
What?
That was cute.
Yeah.
I don't have no baby for her to reveal, so I'm not paying them.
I don't like the fact that I feel like she's doing like the TikTok dances and stuff, and I just it's leaving
I'm
a.
not like a beehive.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not a fan. Like
I'm not a hardcore fan of anybody.
Yeah, like that's
like it just it's not.
I like your music. I
That's
can
as far as
still
it
bop
goes.
to I don't bop to it.
I play in the car, but
Yeah, but that's what you get from me.
that's it,
Unless I get free tickets.
baby. I went to one Beyonce concert. I will say it was like middle of the day. Got the tickets or learned about the concert. Got the tickets for the low. Had terrible seats. Amazing concert.
Yeah.
I will say she
She's a
gives
little
you
woman.
every dime you paid for. My ticket was probably $45. Terrible seats. 'Cause,
Yeah.
for example, there's several people that we probably can all name at least 5 people in entertainment who we can probably name 5 different people in entertainment who on paper would not have, like if it was a test score, they would not have a high score in terms of their craft or their ability to do it. Like they're singers who can't like sing the best, but they're entertaining, they look good, they fit the mold, and the mold of everything else they fit is that other like 85%. That it factor. Like they could garner in a lot of eyes and attention just from their personality.
I see.
But the girl can't sing.
I see.
But she's gonna sell records. She's gonna sell this concert out. It's the package. It's a lot of people like that in entertainment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But not necessarily we, but the masses of people soak it up, so it's gonna keep happening. That's unfortunate because I want quality over quantity, but that's in a semi-perfect world.
No, but the Mandela effect is like the idea that like, so we living on a different timeline. I don't know if this is real, obviously, but like things like there used to be a Tinkerbell in the Disney thing is no longer Tinkerbell, and if you went back and like looked at a movie from 20 years ago, the Tinkerbell would not be there anymore. But like people have distinct memories of like the Walt Disney and then the Tinkerbell.
There's a number of different things that large demographics or groups of people are like. I remember this from my childhood, but then when you go look it up,
So
it's
why is
said that
that,
it's
though?
something
I
different.
don't know.
Is it true?
I remember seeing the Tinkerbell.
I do
Just
too.
like I remember, just like with Woody, they do this thing on Toy Story where it's like whatever Woody say when you pull his thing, there wasn't an S at the end in the original, and now there's an S
They
in
probably
it.
took it out.
And it's like how did all this happen? But there
And
are
all
no,
of us remember.
Yeah, not all of us remember.
It's
But there
a
are
number of
no
different things,
records
too.
of it, right? So none. So like if you went back and looked at your Toy Story tape from 1997, it would not have that on it anymore.
That's anticipating that you still
But
have
it's
it.
like you have a vivid memory of like, no, what do you
So
used
what's
to
the point though?
I don't know the point.
Why is it called the Mandela
Like that
effect?
is crazy.
Because it's something to do with Nelson Mandela.
Oh, see, this is too much.
That's like what it
Some
came
people also, when I was looking it up, because I was looking in my
because
conspiracy
some
world.
people's timelines Mandela died, and then other people's timelines Mandela got freed. But I always remember Mandela getting freed.
Yeah.
But then some people say they remember him saying that he died in jail.
Yeah,
He did.
That's what I was taught.
So they say he didn't?
No, Mandela died free. He was the president.
Oh.
He
I
became
thought
the
he died in
president.
But they
I thought
told
he
us
died in
that.
jail too.
I thought he died in jail, but they saying that he
didn't.
didn't die in jail.
Y'all wild as shit.
Cracking up.
What?
Say that.
They told us.
It's the Mandela effect. I don't fucking know. Some people say it's because we're not gonna go really into it, because some people believe it's like the CERN people and doing all of those things, and the experimentation. CERN is this big corporation that is doing experimentation on a daily basis, almost similar to NASA, and they're supposed to be like growing these technologies and doing all these things. They're trying to like open wormholes and black holes and all of those type of things. Some people believe that an effect of something that they created in the last like 5 or so years has created the so-called Mandela effect. I know no evidence to prove these things. This is just what some of the people think.
Some people do think that. I don't know if I think
I
it, but
was
some
trying
of
to
the
do something.
things,
I was like, I don't know. Because
Yeah, I
there are
don't
some
know
things
either.
like some people like, for some people like are like, I remember Chick-fil-A being CHICK filet, and some people are like, no, it was CHI. I mean, some people are like, I remember Chick-fil-A being CHIC filet, and then some people are like, I thought it was CHIK.
CHIK.
And some people are like,
see, that's the Mandela effect.
I remember it being CHIC, but I don't know. I don't really remember. I don't remember.
It was CHIC.
What was it?
I still spell it like
I
that.
thought it was CHIC,
Yeah.
but it's clearly CHIK.
No,
But some people are like, I remember it being CHIC. In my mind, I'm like, I could just not have been paying attention. In reality, but I remember CHIC, but I could also just not have been paying attention.
I remember being young. I only had Chick-fil-A one time, and I was like, "This is not good.
It's
This chicken
overrated.
is
It's
thick and
not.
fried." I was like, "This is Chick-fil-A."
I don't know. Not fresh.
I like Chick-fil-A
enjoy
nuggets
I
and
enjoy it.
water.
You give me like you cook regularly. I love that.
We always think.
Your insides are good.
You always think.
Like, intestinally. Like, you know, not like,
I know.
yeah.
I'll take it.
Not disrespectfully. Like, you know.
Thank you.
There's a lot of like red meat intake and all of that stuff going on.
I
And
didn't grow up eating a lot of the stuff that you mentioned. Stuff.
but that's culturally.
Yeah.
I work with one of my coworkers. She's Nigerian.
Thank you for the home cooked.
Yes,
Period.
it's so
Hello. Period.
Okay.
Y'all chicken nuggets
From where?
from Chick-fil-A.
CHI.
CHIC. Okay. But she's Nigerian, and she grew up in Nigeria and came here as a teenager, and she's very Southeast DC. Now, very much, but she's still very African Southeast DC.
I see.
So like I like the energy is always good, but like she doesn't like eat out. She's not like curry out. Like she like, oh no, even though she lives by herself, her and her boyfriend, she like, oh, we cook regularly. Like I didn't. She's like, I my developmental years happen at home. So what y'all do here, though I'm like 30,
Right.
and it's been half of my life here, it's still not. That's not my custom.
Right.
And I'm like, I appreciate that because half of us grew up on fucking McDonald's. And it's real. Like half of us grew up on McDonald's and fucking Popeyes and stuff. So it's ooh. But we were talking about unlearning earlier.
Yeah.
It's gonna take some time to unlearn to relearn. So we are open to that.
That's right.
But next on the, we probably won't get through all this stuff, y'all. That's a part of the show. We say it's very we always, literally every episode, we have a whole outline, a whole list of things that we want to discuss, and then the organic, natural conversation happens. But that is, we like
We
that.
need a reunion.
Hello.
We need this.
But the next thing, and we still in icebreakers here. We didn't even get to the real stuff. We're gonna get
Okay,
this.
I think this to not deflect anymore.
We're gonna get into the last icebreaker, and then we're gonna dive in, y'all, to the topics. So there is some interesting stuff that we want to talk about. But if you could live anywhere else for a year, where would it be, and what would you do there?
Dubai.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
What would you do in Dubai?
Child, I would be a capped housewife.
Okay. Period. I see that for you.
Because Real Housewives.
Yes, I see that for you.
Did y'all watch Real Housewives of Dubai?
See, you deflected.
Sorry, you did it.
Because it's so good.
No, it's good. I
And
like
it's all like it's a bunch of black women and they're married.
Well, I want to watch
Black
it.
people
I don't
thrive.
watch Housewives.
Black people
Black people
thrive
are
in Dubai.
thriving in
They
Dubai.
do.
I did not know that. I did not know that. But like,
They're pressed for black people.
yes.
Like they love black
You are
people.
treated lovely
Yes,
there.
yes.
Like beautifully there.
Yes.
And the crime is extremely low.
Ooh.
The crime is very low. I mean, because from my understanding, it's like cameras everywhere, and the police are actively watching. So if something happens, they on you right there.
Yep.
So it forces people.
Oh my God.
It forces them to not do crime, which might work in America.
Yeah.
Hello.
We need that system there.
But
yeah.
where would y'all go? Where would y'all go? Try not to deflect this much, y'all. Okay, I'm trying.
Probably Jamaica, because it's warm.
Yeah, I'm about to say definitely somewhere else.
What would you do? Where would you do? I mean, what would you do there? Sorry.
Smoke weed on the beach.
Ooh,
Correct.
that sounds. I'm with her. I'm with Jamaica.
Oh no, we are gonna do one more, because I want to know this.
Why
next
we're not
one.
gonna get to the topics, baby. We only doing icebreakers. We're not gonna get to this.
Well, we're just gonna organically slide through it, and what happens is what happens, yo.
No, I'm just saying, we're not getting to the topics.
We are gonna get into some of these topics because it's interesting.
We've had 20 topics already.
Okay, where do you live, Candace?
I'm going to Jamaica.
Okay.
Smoke weed on the beach.
For me, it would be I would want to go to Europe, and I would want to do some more studying of my craft, actually, because I always wanted to go to Paris, and I always wanted to see. Granted, people who I know personally who have gone say it's quite overrated. I want to see it with my own eyes,
Okay.
like people in the submarine.
Ooh, see.
It's too soon. I thought it was too soon an hour ago. Is it?
Mario,
Okay, I'm sorry.
He is so funny. He needs to be stopped.
It was too soon then, but I thought.
And it's just rolling off. It's just
Oh, baby.
You always been like
I need to show like last thing in the icebreakers. What's something that people don't ask you but you wish they did?
Permission. Period.
Oh, I like that.
What do you mean?
So you find yourself in situations where people are not asking you for permission to do stuff to you?
No.
Or no, I like diving in a little bit to that. Because I like that.
No, but like, I just want people to like, just permission, like, to be around me, to be
That's true. I mean,
to like, talk to me, like, how you not want to talk to you? I
Yeah.
want to talk to you. Like, ask for my permission.
That's good.
I like that.
I do like that.
What do you want permission?
Oh!
She said what you mean.
Yeah, right.
Where we live at? Permission for what?
Not in regards to her, but in general. If I was like, hi, how are you doing? You should have my permission. Fuck you, get out of here.
I get what you're saying.
I hear you, but I'm just saying.
Not her, me.
I like that though.
In general.
I think people just be like, just like be more cognizant that I might not be in the space.
Exactly.
Like, read the room.
I might,
Yeah,
read the
okay.
room, like,
Okay.
I'm sure you want to say that's right.
Yeah.
Is there a better time that we could talk about this?
Yeah.
Better time you
How are
got
you
my
feeling?
attention.
Are you?
Like, am I in this place to receive this? Like, ask for my permission.
Yeah.
Don't be stuck in that shit.
Yeah. No.
I just want people to ask me more questions about myself. And that sounds like that may sound arrogant, but it's not. I want people to ask me more questions about who I am rather than making assumptions. Because in my walk of life, I've had a lot of people who I've encountered and been close with who made a lot of assumptions, and I realized that in retrospect, I aided in the assumptions. But if to the question, I would rather you ask me more things about myself, so I can lead you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because I know how I need others to operate around me and with me.
I'll be like, so what you wish?
Yeah, okay. It doesn't have to be complex.
When people ask you to pay your rent, like, can I pay your rent?
Cracking up. We're gonna put a pin in it and come back because that's a good one and that's one to take home. But
You wanted something.
crack up. Hello. Cause you wanted something for me too. What's up? What you need?
Oh, what you ask?
What you need?
Yeah.
What's my answer? What you
Yes,
need? I like
that's a
that.
good one.
What you need? Everything.
Okay.
Something. It all.
Right?
Whatever you want to give me. No. Don't accept everything.
Because sometimes people anticipate your needs and that's not what you need.
Ask me questions. I want more questions. Ask more questions.
Yeah.
Today's topics were supposed to be about the beauty industry, the consulting industry. You guys' chosen industries, beauty standards, being an entrepreneur, and a small business owner. So we're gonna dive in a little bit to that. Our first question on the docket, y'all, is what first got you into your chosen industry? We all answer that. We're gonna quickly answer this, y'all, because we don't want to too much time.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So anybody that knows me knows, like, even when I was 16, like, I was always doing something related to hair, like, especially when I had like the curls and stuff like that. Like, I was always into that. And so I remember, like, my parents or like my siblings, if something happened to their hair, they would ask me questions because I would do a lot of research.
Got you.
So that started from the very, very beginning. And then I even remember after I would go to Bed Bath & Beyond, study the products.
Come on.
You know what I mean? And then I remember one year specifically, I tried to like stretch out my hair in terms I had perm at the time, so this is back in college. And I would never forget I used the wrong shampoo because at that time it was limited options for black hair care. So I used a shampoo that wasn't meant for our hair type. And I remember like I just took my braids out. So I've had my braids for 3 months. Do not recommend. So I washed it, and then next thing you know, they turned to freeform locks. And I remember crying. I called my dad. I remember crying. I was like, "Daddy, my hair turned into locks." He said, "What do you want me to do? It's like, do you want me to drink one of your mother's wigs?"
I love it.
I did not. So I went to Afra K. Lassa. She shaved my hair bald.
Because she's done it herself.
That was my first big chop, and then from there I was doing more research, and then I had to big chop again because my hairline was receding.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, it's like once you shave your hair, you're never the same woman. So
I love that.
I think it was like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And that was like when we were talking about redirection and stuff like that. Like that was my redirection because I was like, why is my hair not growing? And I didn't even realize it's for me to form my own brand.
Right.
And to help other people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
that's amazing. Because it's the notion of sometimes like you may not have poured into one of your talents or gifts, but it was always being poured into in your journey. It was always happening.
Absolutely.
So when you were ready to choose that I want to like dive into it, I'm prepared.
I just got that push. It's time. It's time. It's time. Yeah. So that's my story in short.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. What's yours? Tommy got a new job.
So for me, I didn't have like the traditional post high school experience. I didn't really want to go to college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted a family. I knew I wanted children, but I didn't know what my next steps would be. So of course I had a lot of administrative jobs. I failed at most of them. I got fired from some. Like it was a whole journey. But then eventually I got a job at Georgetown Hospital. And I was horrible at my job, but I learned, my role, and I learned the administrative field.
Gotcha.
So initially I thought, being in the administrative role, you only had your receptionist and secretary. I didn't realize, the whole big sphere of everything that you can do administratively. So from Georgetown, I worked at NIH, and now I'm a project manager. And I have no degree. I have experience, so I really just want to be that person to, tell other young girls or young men that you can do it. You don't technically need the traditional college background to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, just learning that on my own and just wanting to, be that person to help with resumes and help with career development. And I enjoy doing that now that I've, found my own way.
That's good. That's really good. I love it. We're not going to answer these things.
We told them 30,000 times.
What we do. Yes. What's one main message you want to continue to share with your supporters and the world? Because one thing I like to say, share your gifts with the world even if they don't deserve it. I'm a poet. Not you. Not and you know it. Well, one main message you want to continue to share with your supporters in the world.
I always say, this is a quote that I live by. It's there's 2 important days in your life. Right? The first one is the day you were born, and the second one is the day you found out why.
That is so
so that's
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, so like just living your purpose, living your alignment, and everything will follow through.
That's really beautiful. Like it.
Yeah.
See, I was going for it. That just like it did a number of things in my mind. That was.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it is like for real, mentally found that away. How has entertainment and media impacted both the beauty industry and the consulting and recruitment industry? Is it aiding to the growth of them? Is it not aiding into it? Is it impacting it at all? I know in the art world, it's making it, I feel like entertainment is making it easier for artists, visual artists, to garner clientele or art collectors, because it was very like a niche demographic of people who were like, I'm an art collector, I buy artwork for my home. And now it's, even if it's in memoriam of a lost loved one, it's still more widespread that people are like buying art and getting into buying art for their home. So I feel like it is assisting in me creating art collectors who want my stuff. It's also creating people or it's creating, it's creating this sense of being oversaturated, because now everybody's an artist. Just like everybody's a rapper, everybody's a singer. But that's going to continue to be, everybody's a podcaster. But that's, it's okay, because in everybody doing all of these things, you can sift through and find, like, the good ones will, like, float to the top, like Guppies.
I think the social media definitely helps.
Yeah.
Especially when I think about like career development and employment and stuff like that. I mean, you can look at LinkedIn, for example, as a social media platform. I use that a lot.
It's a great one,
Yeah, and I tell my clients to utilize that for job platforms to connect with recruiters. Look at TikTok, you see all the different positions you have out there. You know what I'm saying, that we weren't privy to before because of lack of knowledge or just weren't aware because it was one way or the highway. Type thing. So yeah, I think social media definitely has a positive impact on growth, career growth.
I think in my industry, the hair care industry, it could be a hit or miss. It's very divisive in terms of like who should be natural, who shouldn't be natural, and the natural community is like adamant about not using certain products and this and that. It's just like I always advocate for people to use whatever works for them. Right. And so that's just my stance on it, and I don't have any like qualms with people that choose to still relax their hair. Like that's still your choice, and it's still your hair that grows out of your scalp, whatever, whether it's processed or not, right? But I ultimately do think that it plays a good hand in advocating. You all remember like when the natural hair movement kind of like came into fruition. So that I think social media definitely tied into that. But I would say overall it's been pretty good. We even see like people with natural hair on the red carpet.
Yes,
like
I'm loving that.
You know, it's coming into its own. So I would say that although there's always like pros and cons to every industry, I would say for the most part it's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I got like 5 more.
Okay.
And that's really it. 'Cause I just condensed it a little bit. It's good though, because I'm enjoying this. What's the best, because that leads into this.
Okay.
What's the best advice you've learned in your journey of creating your businesses? Did you get any good advice? Or was the advice gained in you learning in the process? Because sometimes you may not that there's no one to help you, you may not know somebody in the field of what you're trying to do that can advise you. Because, and if you do know somebody who's in a similar field, they may be in the walk that you're in, so they can't tell you because they don't know themselves yet. So if there's been some great advice that you've learned in building your business, what would that have been? One thing, I don't feel like I've gotten like amazing or not amazing advice. I've gotten pretty like base level advice. I feel like that could be applied to any niche. But one thing that has stuck with me that Mr. Easton from Duke Ellington always said was successful people leave clues. He always said successful people leave the blueprint. That doesn't mean that you do exactly what other people do. You're not a copy machine. That means you have access to see what worked to give you inspiration on something else that could work. And then you can apply it to yourself. So that's something that has stuck with me in terms of being an artist trying to sell work in this oversaturated world where everybody's a painter and now AI is trying to take over and do it and all of that. It reminds me that like there's something unique about me. Obviously, the people who've been coming back to me for 5, 6, 7 years obviously know what that is. But yeah, nonetheless,
I love that.
successful people leave clues, and I love that. What's something that you've learned?
Me?
No. I was looking at you.
I want to know,
But yeah, chime in.
In terms of
Because this is a new journey for you, so this is very interesting.
Oh yeah.
I would love for you to sound.
You said what?
Yeah, I said I would love you to sound enthused. She said,
No.
Okay.
So something I learned is that I just have to have faith in myself, right? Because a lot for me in this new journey is that like I just be doubting myself. I'll be like, look, this is not good. And then I send it to somebody and they're like, this is perfect. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess it was
Hello?
perfect. I guess it was good. And then boom, now I'm moving and then just trusting that like God is doing all of these things for a reason, right?
Yes.
Like, I am not no strong ass bitch. So he know not to put too much on me. So I'd be like, I would only have this on me if I could bear it.
Yeah.
And I obviously can bear it. I'm not
Obviously.
crying every day. I'm not on the floor. I'm in a good place,
Yeah.
like as in like with my adulting things. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a little break and like focus on my business. So having faith.
Yeah, I love that too. And it's not even you taking a break. It's you're doing more work, but it
no,
feels
for real.
it may seem more natural because it's what you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's you have control over what you're doing, so it feels better.
My grandmother said to me today, she said, yeah, so when you go back to work, I said, Grandma, I'm working to not go back to work like everybody else. I was like, that thing of like not being sure, I don't like that. I've always been sure. Like I've always been in corporate, I've always been sure. So to not be sure, I was like, Grandma, I can't do this no more. I gotta be corporate. So I'm gonna be corporate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it is, and don't fault, not that you're doing this, but sometimes people will fault their loved ones, the moms, the dads, the grandmas, for not understanding or feeling like, you're not believing in me. They don't understand because they set the groundwork for us to be able to push forward in said entrepreneurship, just the same way that we're doing for our next generation, our kids and our kids' kids. We're setting certain groundwork for them to be able to do more freely. Grandma don't understand
Because they didn't
making.
come from that generation.
She didn't come from that generation. They don't understand
They come
making
from
money
jobs.
being lucrative without going to work,
Yeah.
like a traditional job. So
Yeah.
it just don't click. So sometimes it's okay. They gonna advise you. They gonna keep advocating for you. They not gonna see it until they see it.
Yeah.
They gonna keep advocating for you to go back to work.
Yeah, go work.
They gonna keep. It's gonna be go. When you go back to work? You go to work. And it's like I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
This is work.
But thank you. But don't just like don't. You're not gonna fault our loved ones for that. They only doing what they feel is
It's
best.
honestly just a different paradigm, right? They do not know.
Exactly.
They're like, what do you mean?
What do you mean you're not going to work?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You don't have a 401k
They
right
don't,
now?
right.
Yeah, they're like, what? Are you using 401k? Like, why would I do that? Your IRA? Like, my what? Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make $1 million and figure it out then.
Okay. Hello, trying to make my M and then divvy it up. Okay.
Not making it.
But if you could change anything about your industry, what would it be?
The oversaturation.
Okay. That probably is for everybody.
Yeah.
I would change. I feel like there's a level of secrecy, or like there's like in my industry, it's been like for a certain amount of time, it was like you had to be one of the who's. Well, at one point in time, it was really like the goal was like I want to get in the gallery. You're an artist. You develop yourself. You put your name out in the streets. You get these relationships. You get into a gallery. You only get into the gallery from having your name be widespread throughout the streets or in the streets of the art community. And it was a level of secrecy on how that happens, or like because it's versus being able to I go to this office of this art gallery and submit my things to them and then wait for them to consider me. You wait. You produce work, and you wait to be reached out to, rather than go and say, "Can I be in your gallery?" That was kind of the way it worked, and it was a level of secrecy that like nobody was telling people like, "How do you do this?" It just kind of happens, and I don't like that. So I wish that, I mean, not I wish because it is changing with the help of social media and the internet. So that's the thing that I would like to see to continue to change. Just that level of secrecy. It's okay sometimes. Oversaturation is fine because there's a level of information that comes out, and then we can wean out what does not need to be there, so to say. So secrecy needs to be gone in my industry.
Yeah, I feel the same about kind of the work industry too. I feel like now, like I said, social media does grant us access to resources and stuff like that, but a lot of people just have this misunderstanding of, about how you can achieve your next step in your career. And I feel that way too. That's kind of like a level of secrecy.
Especially like the interview process.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's so weird. Yeah, on the other end, it's like, I noticed that
Yeah.
people that's recruiting, they have their like undercover
Yeah.
ways to like you
Mhm.
know, trick people.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, like applying for jobs, like they use the applicant tracking system. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that,
Yes.
you know, just because you have a good resume, sometimes you have to tailor it to your specific. Exactly.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So they don't
yeah.
tell you that.
Nobody,
Yeah.
that
So it's like,
it
oh,
is
I ain't get the
secret.
job. I thought I was good. You are, but it's a system looking at your resume versus a person.
That's to that 10% or 15% of the talent thing.
Yeah.
You have the credentials.
Yeah.
The packaging just unfortunately was not. It
Exactly.
don't fit the algorithm of what they would use.
Exactly.
That's
I worked in recruiting for a very long time, like 5 years, and it is a secret ass society. It's like you don't tell, like, it's like sometimes you can tell other recruiters what you're doing, but you really can't tell nobody else what you're doing because they're gonna go to your candidate pool, they're gonna take your people, and it's like you can't tell the talent what's going on because really you are only a middleman. You can't make any decisions. You have no power. So like somebody's on one ear and they're like, oh my God, I'm not hearing back from you. I interviewed 3 times. I talked to all these people, and meanwhile you in the meeting with the CEO like, so we had this person interviewed 30 days ago, and I just want to know yes or no, and it just leaves this secrecy and it's just air of like unfairness. It's like the hiring process is like real gross to me.
From my industry, I would say a lot of the major brands that we see in the stores that advocate for like black hair care, they're not black owned.
Shea Moisture not black.
Oh my gosh, that really like, and they had us all bamboozled.
Yeah,
Like, why would they do that?
They had lucrative.
I thought it was black owned at first though. Shea
We all
Moisture,
thought it was.
It was.
Okay, good.
It really was.
The why they do that is because black and brown dollars make up 80% of the spending dollars in America, even though we make under like a quarter of that.
Absolutely.
We spend all of our money everywhere. That's why they
I
do
just
it.
don't understand why. First of all, I don't understand why, like in your industry, like why these brands would not like. Why would you sell yourself to the man?
Right.
The man, like you know.
They know, but I think it's definitely like a lucrative thing.
It's the money thing.
Money. It's like some people. If people tell you the right price, are you going to sell?
Honestly,
they be changing the formula.
They change
can
the
got alcohol in it. I feel like they got
Can 2 used to be
alcohol.
really good.
It used to be like the salt they free shampoo.
Yeah.
Like Can 2 used to be it.
Yeah.
And now it's like it's a different formula and it don't feel the same in your hands.
You don't
It's
have to look
uneven.
at it.
It's not
Nope.
thick. Like
Yeah, so
it's not for our hair. And then I be seeing people on TikTok and they be having what we got like 3 to 4 hair. They be having one A hair.
And it works.
Yeah.
And they be using Can 2. And I'm like, why are you? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You even have cups. You know.
Yes, I don't like that.
I don't like that either. But we're changing the industry, y'all. We're currently changing the industry.
Yes.
Whether we realize it or not.
Black.
Thank you.
Hello? Blackity black. Okay. And that's blackity black. I'm heavy on it. Okay. Blackity black.
Why
Yeah.
did you see black again?
No, but what is that? Black
He
again?
was like, I'm black again.
Hollering, not the sign language. Not the sign language. It's like black again. I hate it.
When he was done, yes.
Hate it. I'm trying not to be. I don't like. I hate for people to get the misconception. Never mind.
Oh, you about to go on the tangent?
Yeah, I was. It's unnecessary. People get the misconception sometimes that like, because I don't like that there's a lack of representation of like masculine men in my world. Because I feel like we talk about this a lot. There's one package, and I don't like it. There's one package of a gay man that you see who makeup, lashes, girl clothes.
Oh.
Do your thing, but when you represent or when you have so many eyes paying attention to you, when you have so many people that look up to you for certain things, now the masses of people, when they think gay man, they think lashes, makeup, girl clothes, and that's not the only form of representation that needs to be had. It's nuanced, and like it is because it is a spectrum. The media brought up a number of different people who were doing that, but unfortunately, they're like Jussie Smollett. Other things that they have done have smudged whatever it is that they were doing, socially. So I just want there to be more representation because people like me, for example, my femininity comes out in level spaces of comfort. It shows that I'm comfortable around you, but I'm not presenting myself like a woman out into the world. And not that there's a problem with that. I just want further forms of representation. Because when you think of gay men in rap, I love the fact that it's being more accepted. Not that I don't want to be a rapper, that doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But just for those who want it, I love that it's being more accepted.
Yeah.
On the other hand, let's see something other than you wearing girl clothes, makeup, and lashes. Because half of y'all are not dressing like that off of the stage.
Exactly.
Also, in your day-to-day lives, when I look at you on Instagram, or when I looked at you on Instagram before you became widely known to the world, you were not appearing that way. So is it the management? Is it the team? Is it propaganda? What is it? What is the message trying to be sent to the younger people? But that's
I
another
think
thing.
black gay men make white women feel comfortable.
Make
So
white
I-
women feel comfortable.
And
Interesting.
then I don't know how many white girls I see on TikTok. Nothing wrong with white girls, live your life. But they be on TikTok and Saucy Santana lyric the fuck down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's something that makes a level of comfort for them, right? This is the way to have a black man in the public eye and it's also gay, and it's very digestible.
Ooh.
Because if I if I can't think of nobody real masculine. Somebody real masculine.
Mm-hmm.
If Will Smith was gay, right, openly gay. No, he's not gay. We have no proof that Will Smith was gay. But I'm saying if somebody
I thought you said masculine.
He's not masculine.
Some people
You said real.
Okay.
real masculine.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gay.
Like Jeezy.
I'm sorry.
Jay-Z.
Okay, yeah. So Jay-Z,
Because they say we.
yeah, so somebody like Jay-Z that will make people uncomfortable. They'll be like, what? This regular black man is gay? What? He could be my next door neighbor? Wait, I could be playing basketball with
Yeah,
him?
that's very good point.
Watch out.
Yeah. Or then it would lead to the narrative of he's trying to trick you. It's
Or straight men would think that he wants everybody.
He wants
Yes,
everybody.
yes, that's right.
Yeah. So it's here's this digestible version of somebody of a stereotypically
Does
accepted.
that happen to you a lot too?
in my experience, no.
Okay.
I'm an interesting character. The same way I was as a teenager, in certain ways, in terms of people naturally
Everybody's-
gravitate
yeah,
towards
yeah,
and
I
get
see,
comfortable
I see.
around me. That is the same for straight men as well.
You've always
It's look,
It is a flex. It is.
before I got into the world, I thought that everybody operated like that, or everybody was like that. I didn't know that that was a gift, because my family is like that. My whole family is like that. But then when I started seeing other people who come from other stock, I was like, oh, that's not natural. That's not regular. So I appreciate it more. But I in my experience, no, I haven't had many straight guys, no straight guys for real, think that I was coming onto them.
Okay.
It was always oh, he cool as shit. But then the next gay guy, they'd be like,
Yeah. The flamboyant.
yeah, or they just be like, I don't know, keep him at arm's length. I know some people who have had trouble with that, and it really was they're not flirting with you. He's just who he is.
Yeah.
He's not. It has nothing to do with you. But then also you gotta watch out with that, because some of that you gotta watch out for that sometimes, because some of those ones who are perpetuating certain things are hiding certain things.
Exactly.
Or have not accepted
For sure.
or been able to come to a level of self-acceptance. And that's their journey. So we're not going to shame them
Yeah.
for their journey. But sir, don't mind your business on my mind. Okay?
Yeah.
The heavy on it.
If you trade, just say it.
Okay?
I'm curious to know what your type is, though.
Big thugs.
So I've been celibate for the last 6 months on purpose, and I want to go this October makes a year. So almost, more than 6 months.
It's more than 6 months.
Yeah. I've been saying 6 months about 3 months. Yeah. Come on. I told myself I wanted to do a year, because once I started having sex, I never stopped. And I feel like that, I don't like the way that sounds.
Okay.
When I say it out loud to myself, I don't like the way I digest that. And I know my history with sex and how I looked at physical connection. I had low confidence as a kid. My confidence wasn't always there in me developing confidence after high school and getting more attention from men. I then equated physical connection with interest in me, genuine interest. and then I fell into a deep like.
Once you take it away.
Let's see if you have the capabilities to develop a relationship outside of that. Especially now with the growth that I can track specifically in the last 3 years.
Good.
So it's a test to self.
Good.
But type, technically, I would like a man who, because I'm not a woman and I'm not feminine presenting at all, especially when I'm in with a partner. I would like a man who matches my masculinity.
Yeah.
But also knows how to tap into his feminine. Because duality is important, I feel like.
Yes.
And does not have a problem tapping into his feminine in most spaces.
Okay.
But I would like him to be taller than me. I would like us to be both fit. I'm not fit currently, but I would like us to both be fit or be on the road to getting fit together. I would prefer him to be more fit than me initially. But I don't like, on a surface level, when people are like, well, who will be the woman? I don't want it to, a woman doesn't exist in our equation. I don't want it to be like, for example, there was a guy who I was trying to date earlier last year, and we had went on a couple dates, and the first date we went out, we went on one date, actually, and we hung out a couple times. The first date we went on, he went to the bathroom, he came back, I went to the bathroom, I came back, he paid the bill.
Okay.
I'm, in my mind, making this is what I assumed. We didn't have no conversation about it. The next day, I was like, okay, decide what you want to do. He said, I want to go see a certain movie. I said, choose the movie theater, choose the time you want to go. I knew it was one of the theaters where like we can get like liquor and stuff like that. I was like, I'll Uber us there and back, just so we're safe. Cool. He ended up forgetting that he had to work that evening at his work from home job. So it turned into like, oh, we'll come over here and we can just binge watch Dahmer at the time. This was around the time that came out. So we binge watched Dahmer. He had ordered us some like Indian food, and I love butter chicken, a little tikka masala. Oh, change your life. A little garlic naan. The garlic naan hit different, but I feel like, and I could be wrong. I just feel like he felt like he was paying for most things, but I never asked for that, and I had every anticipation on. Just like how when I went to the bathroom, you paid for dinner. I had for me, I was like, dating at this point in 30s was new for me. So I'm anticipating like, we're going to go Dutch. Or if you pay for this one, remember I had every anticipation on setting our whole second date up, but you forgot about your work schedule. And that turned into come over here and watch TV, and you ordered food. It's not like I said, well, order us something. I could have waited till you was done with your 4-hour shift.
So you're okay with like, paying one time and he's paying another.
Completely.
You want that?
I do completely, because I don't want there to be this male female dynamic. I want us to be watching out for each other, like at each level. I don't know if that's realistic or not, because I'm new to dating in the world, so I don't know if that's realistic or if it's like, baby, you live in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with reality, and I can digest information, and if it's y'all like you're living in a fantasy.
No, you're not.
I don't think that's a fantasy, but like also being gay, like if I'm
Unless you
pursuing
say I do.
you, I'm pursuing you. So like I'm coming hard. Like I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna do this thing. Like my girlfriend, I pursued my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So most of our dates was dates. I decided what was going on. I planned it because I was pursuing her. So I think maybe I don't know. Obviously I'm not dating, but
Right.
like, I think maybe that is something to think about, right? Like who is pursuing who in this situation, right? It's not male or female, because like obviously I'm like a little bit more feminine in like I got nails on, I guess, like that makes me a little bit more feminine, right? But like she like is a girl too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take her out.
Right.
Even when I dated studs, I would take them out because you still who I'm pursuing.
Right. Okay.
So like not necessarily that it's a heteronormative idea that a male pays or a female pays. It's just the idea like, if I ask you to come somewhere with me, why would I be expecting you to pay if we're dating? You know?
That's okay. So it is a fantasy.
No.
I mean, not black and white, not surface level. It is a fantasy, but it's like you gotta like make a few edits.
You gotta read the room.
Yeah, I gotta read the room. Yeah.
Like obviously he was pursuing you. He like, no, you come over here. No, I'm gonna feed you. No, I'm like.
And
that's
then
right.
starts.
I'm a trick.
But then. I don't mind being.
You said I'm a trick,
but also then just stop communicating with me. So I'm like, it could be 1,000 different things of what it was, but I'm interested in over communicating. So tell me what it is. But maybe that's an unrealistic expectation for most people who do not know how to communicate.
Most adults don't.
We just gonna, but moving on. We're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna revisit it next year. Yeah, next year. No, I give myself like I want to. By the end of this year, I would have wanted to like started dating someone. Pin it into next year.
Okay.
By the end of this year, I would have wanted to start dating somebody by October. Like I can start having sex if I want to, but I don't want to have casual sex anymore. I've had that enough.
Yeah.
So I want to like by the end of the year at least be like casually in touch with somebody on a surface level.
Yeah.
You said I'm a hoe?
I said,
Even more. Reformed. Also, a lot of my partners were same partners for 4 or 5 years. I say it all the time. I had some of the same
I
partners.
heard that on episode.
I've had some of the same partners for 4 or 5 years. Come on, watch it. Okay. She subscribed, y'all. Okay. But I had some of the same partners for a very, very long time. It was just, I was technically, yes, ethically monogamous in polyamorous world, but did not know it. Because I may have had 2 or 3 partners that, not that I was circulating, but like, I see you now, I see them now, I see you now. But I was very open and honest about like, I'm not expecting anything further than this. And they were with me. So a lot of communication, so it worked at the time. It's not going to work now, moving forward. But we're going to close it up in a little bit because we got to go. But, what was I say? Oh, what are some motivational words that you would provide to the little black girls? Because we're preparing the next generations, and like we say, grandma set the foundation for mom, granddad set the foundation for dad. They said mom and dad set the foundation for us. They sowed these seeds and planted these seeds so that we can do a lot. The reason that they don't understand not going to work and still living a lucrative life is because what they did is the reason why we can do that now. And there are going to be some things that our children are able to do that we don't and won't understand. So what is something that like you would say to those, not just the little black girls, but because y'all are black women, what would we say to the little black kid? And yes, the black kids. All children, but specifically my melanated kids.
Explore the world. Build that business. Collaborate with your colleagues. Just do you for real. I mean, everyone has their own journey, and there's not one way to get to where you need to be.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
So I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay.
Okay, I want to piggyback on that. For me, I would say you don't necessarily need permission. Like, you don't have to get permission to do whatever it is you're calling. Like, you're waiting for someone to save you, or you're waiting for someone to say, this is the time. That's never going to happen. You're never going to fulfill it. It has to be within. And so, even when you're in that space, make sure you're always operating from authenticity.
Exactly.
That's
my
the
God.
key. Yep. That's key.
Beautiful.
Don't conform to anything. Stand out. Like, always stand out and just be yourself. And your people, your tribe will find you.
Yeah.
I love that. Because it is easy to get sucked into the trend. It's very easy.
It's overrated.
It's
Yep.
TikTok. We were just talking about that. It's easy to get sucked in. It's so easy. And then last. Okay, tell me something. We got one last thing. That's it.
I just think you were never made for a life of service. So don't ever think that. Yeah. Whatever you want to do, you have the power to do it. Like, you were not made to be nobody's wife, nobody's nothing. You was just made to be your own individual person. And that's it.
The grown-ups need that too.
Hello? The grown-ups need that too. And the grown-ups need that too.
That was Tommy.
He got a job.
Voice actor. I forgot, and it was very like bass.
I'm gonna tell the kids, it's mine goes back to successful people leave clues. Mine goes back to, I'm piggybacking on all the things that y'all think, because y'all said it perfectly. I also say, like, as an artist, I can't make any mistakes. That does not mean I can't do anything wrong. In my creation process, there's no way for me to, like, if I'm painting something and I'm like, oh, I messed up, that does not exist. I'm creating it. This is from my imagination. There's no way to tell me that this is a mistake. And if I did it once, I could do it 1,000 times again. So whatever you see in your mind, make sure you. J. Cole said it, and I'm going to piggyback off of what he said as well. He said, "Go to the farthest point in your imagination. Believe that, and then once you get to that farthest point in your imagination, he said, go 10 times further to the furthest point of the apex of your imagination, and then believe that, and those things will begin to attract to you." Because I could assume that all of us could attest to there are certain things like in your journey from back then, not even knowing that you were planting those seeds for now. You're pouring into your creative self without even knowing it. So trust your instincts, trust your gut. Grandma always said your instincts will never lie to you, and it's kept me in the right direction this whole time. And last thing, y'all, we got is what's next for you? What's next for Alexis? What's next for? I don't know Candace. What do you want the people to know you Candace? What's next for Alexis? It's a 2-part question because it's what's next for you personally, and then what's next for your business. So it's 2 parts to that. What's next for you, and then what is next for your business? Take a moment.
Well, I can be a little superstitious, man.
That's fine.
Okay.
Remember, they consider me the conspiracy theorist. I'm into the superstition.
Yeah, I don't really like to speak about the next move. I think you'll see.
I love that.
Just stay tuned and just, follow us on Trust by Lex.
Period. Okay.
And check us out on trustbylex.com. And you'll see.
Are you gonna
And all of their information will be linked down below.
Just say that.
I feel that.
You said,
I can feel that.
wait, what you say? What you say?
I was like, you might be in Target.
Yes.
I can
Replace the shea moisturizer.
She said shake.
Yeah, kick them off the show.
They kicking them off the show.
Off the show. Yeah.
Thanks for putting that. We sowed the seed.
We sowed the seed, yeah. So in 2 years, when we in a year and a half, we see you in Target, I'm like, we're gonna have a party.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna have it.
I
Yeah.
believe it. I believe it.
Yoke that thing up, okay?
We working with the founder of LinkedIn. You think that period?
Period.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind it.
hello?
So for me, I definitely want it.
No, for real.
Exactly. I want it to be like a consulting agency, essentially. So I'm trying to now I'm in cahoots with some recruiters, but
Okay.
I want to be, in cahoots with a lot of recruiters. Turn this into like a consulting agency. I enjoy the resume revisions, but I definitely want to focus more on creating partnerships with different agencies and stuff like that.
Love that.
Doing contracts. I do every practice.
Oh, some people need that. I was
Yes.
watching Billie Judy, and she was talking about how she, as much of a businesswoman as she is, and as experienced as she is, she knows nothing about that part of it. So that's a whole niche market where these large entrepreneurs who are independent businesses who have grown to millions and millions of dollars, their experience in growing their business, they have no idea about the logistics side. So you tapping in like this is hello. They gonna pay you to do all the work for them, because she was like, I was interviewing people, and for example, I would hire somebody, and I'm looking at their resume, and their resume says this, that they do this, and then I go and expect them to do the job, and they don't know how to do it, and I have to fire them, because she's like, I'm naive to the fact that what someone's resume says, it's not actually what they do.
Yeah.
And a part of your industry may be like vetting those people out, or knowing key things. Like, it's coming. It's happening, but it's it's on the way. Next for me, not that this was meant for us to answer, but I'm curious. I mean, I'm interested.
You curious about yourself?
No, I'm curious for y'all to be curious. I know it didn't come out right. It didn't come out right. I'm interested. But what's next for me on the horizon is I'm going to dive more into building relationships, specifically romantic relationships, specifically artistic relationships. People in my own line of work and in my craft, I need to have like artist friends that I can like meet up with. Maybe we want to have a painting session or a drawing session. It was the structure of being in art school was great, because being able to sit around in a round table with 18 different artists and essentially have them judge your work. It can be hard for some people, but it also is character building, and it's just sometimes good to hear what other people in your industry perceive in terms of your work. You don't have to listen to anything they're saying. It's just interesting. So I want to continue to build relationships with other artists and romantic relationships, because I'm new to the dating world. And what's next for Rich Art by Mari, that's me, is I'm moving into the, I guess technically like e-commerce world outside of the commission world. So doing things like we was talking about earlier, like the coloring book.
That's gonna be so
This is gonna be lit. There's like a zodiac calendar with individual pieces. So, but right now, the next part for Rich Art by Mari is the e-commerce, so we can transition into this space. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Okay, so when you're at Art Basel,
Exactly.
And because I visited Art Basel years ago as a spectator, now this year I got to go as a guest. And I'm speaking into existence. It's not that hard to apply and go.
You
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm editing. I'm doing it. We're doing it. Editing to the show.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, 60 seconds.
Oh, look, I'm looking at both my phones.
It's been 15. What's next for Demi? Demi!
I'm just gonna continue growing my digital marketing business. And I'm just gonna be like Alexis and say that I am superstitious and we're not gonna speak to anything. We're just gonna let them.
And also, I'm sorry, piggybacking off of that, it's always piggybacking. I too am superstitious and I don't believe in speaking into. I don't believe in speaking too much into stuff.
It's too late.
Too late to fight it. Somebody else is gonna steal it. It's
hilarious.
like I'm laying out what's going to happen, but in my mind there's also a whole other underlying plan of like systematically step by step that I've already like been like planning out. So that's the part that's going to be kept near and dear.
Of course.
Because there's already people doing the things that I'm talking about, except for the home space. But even if somebody else does it, do it. 1,000 times, baby. Mine is not going to be yours, and yours not going to be mine. Hello. And that's on Power Room.
So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Sunday Supper Club class reunion, including me.
Period.
I'm Mia.
What is that? Shit, I'm Mari.
I'm telling you.
I'm Alexis.
And that's been our episode, y'all.
Thank y'all.
All of their information will be linked below.
Good job.